I just woke up. Well, actually, that's not true. I woke up an hour ago on a Saturday. So I woke up around 8:30 and I just couldn't go back to sleep. This is a huge byproduct of now that I've graduated, like now that I'm a grad, I have a job. Your sleep schedule just kind of fixes itself. Like you could try to force yourself to stay up late because I used to be back in the high school and early uni days. I used to be the guy that's stays up at like 3 or 4 sometimes, and then just wakes up the next day at like 2 p.m. Nowadays, I just physically cannot do that. I've been hard programmed to wake up at 8. It does result in some really tiring days sometimes when, for one reason or another, I can't sleep until 2 a.m. and I wake up at 8 anyway, and that's a 6-hour nap. But I woke up very early on. It's only like 9:30, so I decided to cast the game. And apparently Sejuani is just waking up as well, because she's just been taken down here in this early invade. We're gonna have Camille up against Shen top, and interesting, a Shen with no spellbook, but it also has taken Ignite. It's a more aggressive variant of Shen. It's a matchup where you're really looking to just kill your opponent and just obsolete them. It is absolutely not correct to say that Shen doesn't need TP because he has ulti. That's not something you should even consider. One of Shen's biggest oppressive factors is the fact that he can run TP and ultimate at the same time for so much global pressure. So the fact that he is choosing Ignite over TP isn't necessarily because, and I hope it's not because he thinks that ultimate is a TP substitute. It's not. But it's just so he wants to lane more aggressively against the Camille, which is definitely possible. Precision Protocol does get invalidated by the Shen W Spare Refuge. The jungle matchup is a Karthus against Sejuani, who has just been first blooded, but she did make it back in time. So really, effectively, nothing bad has happened. You don't get enough EXP at level 1 for a level 1 invade kill on 5 people to actually make a difference. You still hit level 2 on 7 minions top and 9 minions bot. It's just the extra amount of gold that you get will make the difference. But Karthus hasn't actually had the chance to go back and spend it yet. So as far as we're concerned, still a dead even game so far in the very early game. Is Sejuani actually farming slightly faster here than the Karthus has already passed over to her Raptors. Oh, level 2 for the Leona. They're gonna go bot. They beat blue team's bot lane to level 2, and that means they're going to get some early laning advantages. This is a roughly early gold Elo league, so there are some silver 1 players, there's some gold 4 players in here. Consider the previous cast I didn't upload it was master tier. This is a pretty big deviation from that. Oh, that Zenith Blade just barely does not connect. Although this is the elo where things get the most fun. This is the elo where players start to really get a grasp of how the game works. But either mechanically or decision making wise, they're not perfectly honed to a point where they can actually climb out of this yet without some additional work and without some additional knowledge and understanding of the game. So sometimes you just see people failing wave management, sometimes you just see people not knowing how to D-push. Oh, Leona gonna get rooted up, going for the Senna, but now supportal combat onto the ADCs. Now it's a 1v1 coming down between Volibear. They're just going to call it off, but Ashe Wally is going to be the deciding factor here. I don't play bot lane that much. Oh, the snipe! Sylas walked back. He walked back anticipating to juke the Q, but I don't think he realized that he was out of range. So all he had to do was keep walking, and the Walkout's Q would have never reached him from that angle. But he walked back into it trying to juke it, and that actually resulted in his death. So okay, so we even the score up 1-1. Oh, the Ashe a little bit too far forward. Karthus is gonna come in with the wall of pain. That's gonna seal it here. Oh, Senna didn't get the assist. That's huge. It's just the jungler getting it. Senna gets 1 soul out of this whole ordeal. I mean, the best case scenario would have been her getting the kill, but even 1 tier below that would be her getting an assist on it, but none of that actually happened. So the ADC from blue team actually leaves on this gank empty-handed. You do put the Ashe behind, so that counts for something. Sylas is going to come in for a trade. Beautiful Tectonic Disruption. going to stop the damage for a little bit. Sylas takes tower shot, so he actually ends up on the losing side of that trade. But he's the one with 1 cookie, 2 additional corrupting health pots, and Kingslayer. So he's gonna be perfectly fine in this lane. That bad trade doesn't really mean anything. And now it's Shen's time to farm under the tower. It's so funny watching Gold Elo top laners because they don't understand quite well the concept of freezing and slow pushing yet. So oftentimes you just see like one giant minion wave crash in and reset, and another giant minion wave crash into the other side, reset. And a lot of the top lane matchups become just devolves into people farming under tower, taking turns. But so far for now, blue team, they're off to a pretty good lead, I say. About 700 gold ahead. Volkaz is gonna go back for most components to a lost chapter. But he is 8 CS down. Oh my god. Alright, no comment to that. Sejuani's still gonna keep farming. She's pretty close to 6 now. Around when the next set of buffs spawn is when she'll be 6. Oh no, don't go off bot. There's 2 camps up top for you. Go farm the Raptors. Go farm the Raptors and Crux. I don't know why Sejuani's there. You're not. There's no way you get this. There's no way you get this gank off. Oh my gosh, he's still gonna try it. The flail goes out, the permafrost stun goes down, Ashe is coming in for the assist. Are they actually going to get this? No, okay, good. Volibear does get taken very low, but overall that's a very low efficiency gank for the Sejuani. You still have a Raptor camp up, you still have a Crux hand top. Any reasonable jungler would be pathing top, but she instead goes bot when blue team was hugging their turret. Sylas steals the Life Orb Disintegration Ray and does not get to use it. And finally, with 1 gank, Sejuani's gonna path top. Sylas pings a question mark on her. Which, I mean, I guess I would be surprised. I wouldn't have expected Sejuani to gank from bot. It's just so inefficient, but it somehow works out. Now this lane in this position it is not freezable. It's barely pushable really, it's just a full reset. Senna is going to try to make some more plays happen. She did go open up the tier. I don't quite like that as much. I think if you have 850 gold when you go back, or 900 considering she has a health pot, just buy like literally anything else than a tier. It doesn't add too much to your early laning power, and honestly it hurts you a lot more than it helps you to stack that tier early. You can always start stacking a tier once you stabilize your lane. Tier first is a very, very greedy build. Now, on account of the fact that Ashe did die in lane, I think you could justify it, but when you look at the CS front, suddenly that justification doesn't look so good anymore. Senna is still 2 whole waves down compared to the Ashe. And Ashe is gonna get to farm all of this as well. Now, if they play this lane right, they can actually freeze this. Not anymore, though. Not anymore. Once again, a massive minion wave being built up into the Shen, which interestingly, I guess this is the gripe now I have a Shen, because buying Bramble first over Tiamat does tell me that damn you. Buying Bramble first over Tiamat does actually tell me that Shen took Ignite not because that he wants to play more aggro, simply because he thinks that this is a substitute for TP because he has ultimate. Which is an erroneous train of thought from my end. The fact that you can globally teleport to a teammate doesn't excuse the fact that you can just go ahead without TP. Taking Bramble first is a very defensive option, but taking Ignite is a very offensive option. And it just feels like a huge clash of what he wants his identity to be in this game. Do you want to be a heavy split pushing monster that can join teamfights at will and just 1v1 bully out most matchups for a solid chunk of the early mid game? Or do you want to just be a tank playing for the team, in which case teleport is so much more useful for more global pressure? He seems to want to do both, which just isn't how this game works. Ashe is still gonna get killed off here by the Dawning Shadow, and suddenly Leona has been left alone. Senna's gunning down cannon minions instead of continuing to apply Glacial Augment, which means that yes, Leona will actually make it out of this. But hey, at least Senna gets to farm now to try to catch up a little bit. Just kidding, she can't farm. Oh my gosh, he really can't farm. Volibear is pushing up this wave as well. Yes, in this situation, stop trying to go for last hits. Shove this wave. You need to crash this under the tower. You need to push this under the tower, crash it, and then reset it. Leaving lane in this position is actually very bad for the blue team. So after that kill, admittedly, Senna got it, which means that she is better off in this exchange. But you didn't get as much as you could have out of it. You know, you had to squeeze every last bit of efficiency out of every play. They kind of min-max the way that you approach this game from the early phase. Sylas is going to try to farm as best as he's able, but he has been cornered. He used all his tools to get out, basically. Sejuani going to flash in, but Sylas going to counter with the stolen Glacial Prison. Sejuani still has her own, but she is holding it. And what the frick? I need to watch that again. Okay, so Sylas steals the Glacial Prison. He is going to make it out of there. So the point blank Glacial Prison basically doesn't do anything, and Sejuani going for the flail and the ultimate predict. So incredibly far off, throwing that into next Tuesday. And now here comes the counterplay. Karthus is coming down here to gank as well. Easy kill on the Sejuani. Honestly, the proper form of punishment there from what I just witnessed. Sejuani gonna go down 0-2 against the Karthus, who now has 3 kills. He could still be farming a bit faster though. Karthus is not necessarily the fastest farming jungler in the game, but he is one of the safest, and he has an excuse to just sit and farm all day, because if he wants to kill, he just presses R. And he just needs to accumulate more power to hit into a late game state. Shen is going to flash in for the ignite. Is he going to get this kill? Yes, he is, but now he's sitting on Defile. He is 2 levels above the Karthus. This is not necessarily a fight that he will lose, but where's the Wildcats? He needs to get over here and help. Shen is eating a little bit too many high damage late waves to really matter. Yep, he is going to drop here. And the Requiem securing 1 kill onto the Valkar. Senna is going to get killed off here. Now it's just a Volibear. He's being controlled by the Leona. He needs to try to make his way out, but the volley is coming in. He is being slowed. The Rangers focus the rapid fire. Everything is there. One more breath from even the Fire Drake would have killed him, but no, he does make it out in the last moment. That does mean, however, they have no capacity to contest this, and Shen, this is why you take TP. You need to go back up top. Doing these global plays with Shen early on does mean you bleed a little bit of map pressure, and Camille suddenly gets to crash, what is that, like 3 whole mini waves now into your turret and takes a plate, and suddenly the CS differential now swings in her favor, and she is now richer than the Shen, which now kinda invalidates the fact that he's taking Ignite anyway. If he's just going to be down in money by so much. Oh my god, that's a 3rd plate. Oh my god, that is now 500 gold ahead for the Camille. She is going to get taunted under tower, but the adaptive shield is going to soak up the first hit from the Q. She will come out the losing end of that trade, but she is more than happy to take that. She just crashed 3 mini waves and took in 3 plates. It's suddenly such a huge income disparity to a Shen who teleported down, got 1 kill and died. Sejuani's going to charge in, try to get a stun off on the side, but no, she can't finish it. The Glacial Prison, 1 more hit will knock it down. No. Sylas will make it out with his life. Oh, the Q snipe actually from the Valkar is going to seal Sylas. And I just noticed he's died 5 times this game. Wow. I didn't realize he died that much actually. And in fact, he bought Sheen? Hold the phone, he bought a Sheen? Why? What? Why? What part of a Sheen helps you here? Just finish Ludens and get your Protobelt. Or hell, go Protobelt first. Anything's better than a Sheen. Am I missing something? Is there like a revolutionary Sylas build that I haven't heard about? Shen is gonna make another TP bot into the bot jungle. It's gonna save the life of the Sejuani. Dawning Shadow just gonna slightly whiff the mark, but unfortunately, that is the 2nd time now. He is going to leave this lane while Camille is already here. Which means I am pretty certain now that turret plates are dead, that's going to be first turret going over to the Camille. These map plays from the Shen, not worth it if you're going to... If you don't have the push on the lane, you can't just randomly you can't just randomly ult away. You're going to get punished hard by any laner that pushes fast. A Sheen Camille will do the job just fine. She isn't at Triforce level, in fact she has an extra longsword instead of Triforce components, but we'll save that for another day. That could have very easily been first tower. And I'm frankly shocked that it's not. Shen cannot keep leaving his lane. It's like teleporting. You can treat your ultimate like teleport. You don't teleport out of your lane where you're being pushed in. It's asking for you to lose a lot of map pressure. And which is why you always see or hear people saying the phrase, you know, attack the global. If you put pressure on the source of the global pressure, the person holding the global pressure will not actually be able to exert his pressure. It's the same school of thought as casting Shen ultimate. You can't cast your Shen ultimate while Camille is literally hitting your tower. Or very close to hitting it. Sylas is going to be killed off for the 6th time this game. But despite how hard Sylas is feeding, Volkov hasn't really been able to capitalize on it. In fact, his tower is way less healthy than his opponent's. Yeah, this tower is very close to death. So at least Sylas has been making positive push. And really, you can feed, but if the person that you're feeding to isn't really making map for roaming plays and isn't really killing your tower, does it really matter that much? Sylas is going to be controlled with the Crystal Arrow. She dies before getting to fire a single shot, and now it's a super big Volibear. He needs to make a kill happen on the Ashe, but Ashe, beautiful flash away from the Volibear E, and the damage is turning on. Volibear is so slow. He's just being kited out, and there's no hope for him. Ashe picks up a killing spree. And now the Camille, she's very close to death. Oh, the Hextech ultimatum will surely seal her own fate, actually. And now the Shen trying to dodge his Skittles as best as he can, but the Defile will just kill him passively. So 1v2 and Shen does turn it, converts it into a positive 1-for-1 trade. That actually means first turret going over the way of red team, but this is one of those cases where first turret is actually pretty costly if you lose top and mid to trade for it. Because Volkov once again lone spot at the worst time imaginable, and the inting Sylas actually gets the push on him. This push will come at the cost of his own life. Dawning Shadow participation award, I suppose. But suddenly, what seemed to be a pretty positive early play here from red team actually doesn't work out too well for them. They lose 2 towers compared to they lose 2 towers in exchange for first tower, which isn't worth it considering one of those 2 towers was mid. And they lose the tower, and essentially they lose gold all around. They keep killing the Sylas, but the Sylas is worth nothing. Him dying is pretty much a non-factor if he can still make pressure happen. KDA here doesn't matter at all. He still has a Sheen for some reason. Shen is going to go for the top 10, but really he's not getting too much out of it. Camille is still out farming him. She has a Triforce Stud. Shen has a Merctrez. I mean, here's the other thing. If you want to upgrade tier 2 boots, which, you know, is actually a very strong boot upgrade. It's actually one of the best early game upgrades you can get, just rush boots in today's meta. Itemize for lane, buy Tabi. You want to lane against Camille, because Camille is the person you're fighting. That's actually a beautiful Life from Disintegration Ray sweeping across the team fight, and suddenly this is a huge wash here for blue team. They're going to lose 3 bodies here for 2. It's actually not a crushing teamfight victory as that beautiful laser might have pictured. The thing here is Sylas does get 2 kills, so he resets his kill bounty, so he does give away 300 gold on his death. But here's the problem. Despite how good that laser looked, it was still a 3-for-2 trade, and they may or may not be able to actually kill this tower. Camille is going to come here to try to stop him. Volkov blows his entire combo and whiffs it all, and he's still tanking tower shots. As long as he's not contributing damage. And Camille, the best thing she could do here is just hookshot in and try to clear the miniwave, but it doesn't really matter right now. Blue team will lose this tower, so suddenly that is now a completely winning team fight here for the red team. 5-2-2 for the Volkovs, 5-3-3 for the Ashe. They still have some problems to answer for on the blue team. So Camille right now with Triforce Stun, she's a pretty strong split push threat. And Karthus Karthus is easily the biggest threat left in this game. 5-1-3 with Liandry stun and 6 stacks on the Dark Seal. He is content to just slowly build up more and more power, and right now it's really saying, when you look at red team, do they have an answer to a super high damage Requiem when most of their damage is on 2 squishy backlines? They have an Ashe and a Vel'Koz, neither of which are really building defensively against a potential Requiem nuke. Ooh, Ashe Arrow just whizzed past the Camille. I'm not saying like both of these guys should get Zhonya's, but I am saying that if you have a team with 3 front lines, one of them is a Shen, and all of your damage is on 2 backliners, you can only really save one of the 2 in a massive team fight. Camille is going to try for this push, but no. Definitely not going to work with Sejuani standing guard there, and suddenly this is going to be Baron traded over for a Herald push. Now, if they can get this turret, it might be worth it for them. But this is about where their push ends, as right now the rest of blue team, they're wearing purple, they're coming in to try to stop this push. I wonder if this trade is worth it. I think overall it's actually pretty even. Because almost half of this Baron is not going to be used offensively anyway. So you committed 4 people to do Baron, but you lose so much of your bot wave. You lose so much of your bot turret. And red team, they're actually not giving up the pressure yet. Shen will have his ultimate back up very soon. Sejuani still wants to make a play happen. She is going to charge in here for the Sylas. Sylas wide balls the bola. And his, oh my god, his apprehended abduct. I mean, it's also going to miss as well. Volibear jumps in, but the rest of the blue team has already run out of damage. Camille's on the back. Senna is trying to gun down as many people as she can, but there's so many people here. Karthus is top lane. Shen has already joined the fight. And suddenly, this is a total rout here for blue team. They can't make a play happen. Camille's in the back trying to distract as much as he can, but the time has run out. That's suddenly going to be 3 bodies traded for 1. This Baron buff suddenly no longer matters, because that was not a 5-on-5 team fight that blue team has opted into. And the Ashe Arrow nails it from long range. Karthus is going to be killed off here. He doesn't have the Requiem? Did he use it? I just woke up, so my morning brain can't comprehend if he used Requiem or not, but yeah, I think we have our conclusive deduction that that Baron was not worth it. You had to use the Baron and make a really positive team fight happen, which blue team absolutely did not. Why do you have to wait for everybody? It just looks so silly. Waiting for everybody is not bad because the dragon hasn't spawned yet, but it just looks so silly for everyone to queue up on the blast cone. Sylas, oh my god, he might be crazy enough to try for this. He is crazy enough to try for this. He's gonna dash flash into the taunt immediately and just goes back out, and the disintegration ray fries him alive. And Sylas is gonna be at 10 death. First player in this game to hit the 10 death mark. I mean, yeah, he made some pretty good early pushes happen, but as soon as these plays started happening, it's report Sylas coming out from the enemy team. Fanning up the flames, perhaps. But honestly, I don't think the Sylas did that badly this game. He is gonna replay with the question mark. Until the mid-game phase started happening, when he started playing like absolute doo-doo. His early game wasn't actually that terrible, all things considered. I mean, yeah, dying 7 times in the early game is obviously bad, but he still got the positive push onto the Vel'Koz, and he still actually affected the map a little bit more than the Vel'Koz. Obviously, by the time the mid-game rolled around, the Sylas is just straight up inting now. I don't have too much to say in order to defend him. Shen is gonna go for a flash hunt, engage onto the Senna, and that's gonna be the AD carry that very early on. Karthus is stunned up. Now he needs to try to turn it around. Oh, why flash away? Flash into them! You need to do as much damage as you can. Sylas trying to make whatever he can happen, but no, he cannot. That's gonna be death number 11. Leona is gonna be the first casualty coming out from the red team. But the Karthus is so low, the disintegration rate barely misses him. Good job, Camille, says the Shen. I don't even know what the Camille did. But she's dead. So suddenly that Baron buff doesn't look too enticing anymore, does it? Requiem is gonna come down. Ooh, gonna bring the Vel'Koz down. Wait, is Vel'Koz dead? Yes, Vel'Koz is actually dead to the push. Volibear trying to confirm the one last kill onto the Ashe, but he can't make it happen. This is the Karthus flank. Oh no, never mind, he's recalling. I thought Karthus was gonna flank behind Suicide to kill the Ashe and stop the push. If you kill the Ashe, you do stop this push. The rest of your team has respawn, so you can wave clear here. They're gonna be pushing against backdoor armor. Sejuani is tanky enough that she doesn't care. That's gonna be mid tower number 2 down. So now red team's off to a huge lead. And honestly, there's only one threat left on blue team. Everybody else is just feeding their brains out. But considering that half of Karsus' job in a teamfight is to die, a single threat Karsus doesn't really make for the best enticing prospects on coming back into this game. If you're the only Fed member, you really can't die, because if you die in a teamfight as Karthus, you kind of... Well, you do root yourself for like 7 seconds. You output for 7 seconds, but people can just move off it if there's no additional pressure to keep you on this file. So paradoxically, this is now a Karthus who doesn't want to die and still do damage in a teamfight, which is really hard. It's a really hard style of Karthus to play. But the rest of his team is just not fed enough to make any good plays happen. They're only 4k gold down with 12 kill deficit. So this game isn't totally doomed until, you know, this play happens and Volibear just gets caught and stunned and controlled up. He needs to try to make it to the wall to the flash, but he can't. Camille going in for the 1v5 effort as well. She's going for the Hex ultimatum. She's committing 1v5. The rest of her team is just not in position to make this happen. And the Senna walking up a little bit too far forward, gonna eat a face full of CCs, 3 CCs. Chained, not even chained, stacked on top of each other. Good job Camille with the Lamau coming out. The Leona is gonna get killed off and Karsus dies in such an awkward place. He no longer has a Requiem to assist. That is essentially gonna be the ace for nothing. They lose the Leona, but they don't lose any push pressure off of losing the Leona. So they're just going to go for this push. This might be the end of the game. I don't know why they're hitting it in, but where there's a super wave down bot. Volibear is gonna respawn. How do these 3 stun outs feel, Senna? I mean, probably feels like 1 stun considering they were cast they were cast at the same time. GG Camille, says the Shin, and red team is gonna take it. Closer than I thought, but still pretty decisive. GG to red team.